Writing and typing. During my early self-teaching of programming, my mother gave me her old electric typewriter as she did not need it anymore, and she observed that I enjoyed writing a lot. She always encouraged academic things like writing, foreign languages, math, and later computer engineering and science. I used the typewriter to find creative outlets and escape from the world that I actually lived in. I cannot say that I wrote well, but I did write every day. Writing was a great way to express my emotions and get them out of my head. I would write stories that reflected my real world, but with outcomes that I wanted. Some stories were complete fiction, but others were influenced by the reality around me as I perceived it. A consequence of typing my stories was that I self-taught myself to type accurately around 80 words per minute, and mostly accurate. I could do 110 plus words per minute as my accuracy diminished. On computers, I could type and correct myself at a reliable 90 to 100 words per minute. Later, in my typing class, yes, there were actually classes that taught you to type in my time, I found my self-taught style in conflict with the proper taught style of typing. But I was far faster than anyone else and vastly more accurate. The typing class teacher was a black woman with a chip on her shoulder. She defended teaching typing as an important thing for students. Apparently, her colleagues considered typing class below even physical education. PE was below the typical academic pecking order, and apparently typing class was even below PE. The teacher did not like me much, and she lectured me at every turn about my hands not being in the proper position home keys. Left hand on ASDF, right hand on semicolon LKJ. Use all fingers full range of motion to reach all keys from the home key hand positions. She was rigid in her typing technique and expected all students to emulate her method. I tried to comply with her guidance, but it made me so slow and very inaccurate. I was frustrated. Why would a teacher ask me to do something less efficient and less accurate just because it was not the way she thought it should be done? She was unreasonable, and I decided she was wrong. Ironically, typing class was a negative influence on my typing skills because I had to learn to slam down hard on the keyboard because their keyboards were mechanical typewriters, which were levers that you pressed a button and they lifted and they slammed another lever with a letter on it on a ribbon which left an imprinted ink mark on a piece of paper, which had a physical roller that you slid the paper along. The consequence of being taught to use a mechanical typewriter meant I became a very heavy-handed typist. I always have now been a heavy-handed, abusive to keyboard typist. Anyone who hears me typing hears the vehement keystroke slamming. Forevermore, because of that typing class, I strike keys on computer keyboards with such force that they echo with shock waves around. Click, clack, pitter, patter, hit, slam, repeating endlessly on the keyboard like a woodpecker hammering away, but at a key, at remarkable speeds. The typing instructor challenged me so much that I was visibly annoyed. Finally, I snapped at her. "I am a good typist," I screamed. "I am sure I am able to type faster and more accurately than anyone here, including you." The teacher was taken aback, and she accepted my challenge to my dismay. She answered, "Fine, let us put that to the test, for real. We will take an exercise at the back of the exercise book and compete. We will see who has the most words typed and the least words mistyped when we're done." She set about to have the challenge right then and there in front of the class. She clearly expected to embarrass me. The typing teacher sat at her desk with her personal typewriter as I sat awaiting the start call from her. And then she said, "Let's start!" We were off. I typed with my index finger and thumb per hand. Left index finger hovering above E and R, left thumb over C and V and space. Right index finger over L and semicolon, right thumb over space and a capital N. I had exception keys such as backspace, which was typed with both right hand, rightmost two fingers, excluding my pinky. My method of typing was bewildering to people. With my index fingers and thumbs and occasional upper right keyboard region strike with my two smaller right hand fingers, jumping out as the rest of my hands continued to type, jumping all over the keyboard at frenzied speed. It made no sense to me that there was only one type of typing style that was acceptable. I was about to prove if my typing style could hold its own against the lofty standard typing technique. The typing teacher began, typing as the typing challenge ensued. My keys slammed and banged and echoed across the room. Fellow students were excited and making all sorts of oohs and ahs and snickers at me for my foolish conceit. The typing exercise was done. I finished before the teacher completed the exercise herself. The teacher was slightly more accurate than my 95%, but only by a few percentage points. I argued a few points like that did not matter since I could fix them as I typed on a computer. The instructor declared that she won though because her accuracy was better than mine. The average good typist can type 95% accuracy at 30 to 40 words per minute. The teacher hit the impressive speed of 50 words per minute. I finished at 75 words per minute. By being close in accuracy and 50% faster than the teacher, I argued she had to admit that I in fact won the challenge. To this day, though, I remain dismayed by the conceit held by the ignorance of that teacher that was so intent on forcing ideas on me rather than just ensuring that I learned how to succeed at the very domain of typing. It made no sense. It was controlling and wrong. But to give recognition where it is due, the teacher did ultimately admit that I did win the typing challenge.